Hello and welcome back to Star Citizen. My name is Evenlease, and today on 10 Minutes More or Less Ship Review, right behind me, the ground vehicle, the ANVIL Centurion. Let's go ahead and take a look. Alright, another review, and it's a ground vehicle. Once again, thank you to Cypher1, ZeroGrav, What124, Little Maybug, and Captain Mad Dog for being here. Obviously, this vehicle only requires 2 people, but I'd like to make the scenes look pretty cool. Have some shooting, have some fighting, all these kind of cool things. This ground vehicle is massive, and it can only fit in a few certain ships, like the C2 Hercules, like the M2 Hercules, like the A2 Hercules, and the Asgard, as well as anything of that size and nature. So hopefully we'll have more vehicles sooner or later from the backlog that can carry this type of ground vehicle. The ballista platform or chassis is just such a long and big vehicle, but it's fantastic. It is such a good looking vehicle, and it does great amount of damage for what it is. This thing is $110 on the pledge store, or you can buy it for $1,164,240 AUEC. Definitely not a terrible price for what it can do for you, especially if you like to go to a line of mines, Hathor sites, right? And you can set these things up, allowing to dominate the airspace for up to about 3 kilometers above you, which is really good. And I don't really mind that because they would never see it coming. It's really hard to see this thing from space or from the air because it has such a low signature. Really, the only thing you're going to be tracking is the lasers coming out of the gun when you're being shot at, and that could spell the difference between this and the ballista, but this doesn't require constant reloading like the ballista, so you don't have to worry about torpedoes, missiles, anything like that. You're just sitting here shooting lasers constantly and outputting quite a bit of damage. It does have a 7-minute and 33-second claim time and a 2-minute and 31-second expedited claim time, so even if it gets destroyed, you're back out there in under 3 minutes, which isn't terrible by any means. Now, like I said, this thing has a lot of damage to it, and you're going to ask how much? Well, that back turret and that front turret on it combined do 4,058 burst damage per second due to the 4 size 4 CF447 rhinos, outputting about 3,200 burst or about 3,300 burst, and then the 1 size 3 attrition at the front that outputs the rest of that, which is really good. The attrition is used for any sort of ground cover support around you, so if there's any sort of troops advancing on your position, you can go ahead and shoot them down, and if there's any sort of aircraft in the air, you just go ahead and grab that big old turret on the back, which is a remote turret, and go ham. I have a lot of fun using this. It does have 2 size 0 shield generators outputting 1,524 bubble shield, and then it comes equipped with 20,000 HP. So it's definitely not an easy thing to kill right off the bat. If it gets strafed, it's going to take quite a bit, and a ship can't just sit there hovering right above it, shooting down on it, because those guns will rip apart that ship before the ship gets you. But that's not to say a Gladius with thunderballs can't come in and just bomb it, because it can definitely do that, but hopefully they won't know exactly where you are, or at least you have a driver moving you around constantly. It does have the 3 paints, as you saw, and honestly, this thing is fantastic. It's a lot of fun. But honestly, here's the look with the cockpit. It's definitely not bad, and it has a good-looking amount of space in here. You can look up and around. You got a lot of MFDs, a lot of information, but let's go ahead and take a look at the interior of this vehicle. As you can see, it has the 1 entry point, which is quite obvious. Why would it have more than that? And when you make your way up the ramp, which you would go ahead and use the button right here to open this door, you have the gunner seat to the right, which is a remote turret, like I said, and then you have components directly in front of you and on this back wall here. And then if you turn to your left, you do have a weapons rack able to fit 2 weapons, as well as a storage locker. You can go ahead and open that up and store whatever you need on in here, which is really nice. And of course, you have different lighting modes, auxiliary, emergency, and right down here, you do have a fire extinguisher at ankle like height. It's crazy. I feel like I'm going to bash my ankles on this thing all the time. But then again, you got this, keypad here preventing you hopefully from interfering. So components all over the place. It's got a gold standard components pass before many of the newer ships and vehicles do. Hopefully that'll be something of the past, because it's really nice to see the hard work they put into these things, and being able to put them to their full potential is always really beautiful. And then right here, of course, is the driver's seat. You can go ahead and hop right in. Like I already showed you the view. It is a fantastic looking view, a great looking ground vehicle, and we'll take a look at the pilot. The pilot. We'll take a look at the gunner's seat really quick and show you what that view looks like. Once you're in the remote turret seat, you'll see here you can go ahead and power it on via the information system right in front of you. You get the power off button right there. That's where you'd power it on. And then you hit the enter remote turret. Now, each one of these size 4s has 446 shots per gun. So once you enter that turret, as you can see, you have a very wide range of accessibility of where you're going to be firing. There is not going to be an issue. Even if somebody is running up on you, you can just you can go to town on these things like this, right? And then you can shoot up into the sky. You got all sorts of range and accessibility, which we'll do a quick range test really quick just to see how far out a ship can get hit. So let's take a look. As you can see, it's about 2.8 to 2.9 kilometers from the target that you're actually going to start hitting them. Now, I'm shooting an Apollo up there in space, and that thing can take quite a few hits, so probably take a little bit for it to go down. But in the situation of there being fighters in the air with much less health and much less shield, it wouldn't be too difficult to shoot them out of the sky. All right, so now a Scorpius is about to fly over me, so we're going to do a quick test to just see kind of what type of damage I'm going to output to it here. He's going to come back around. We're going to see if we can shoot him down on this third pass. This is a Scorpius. Remember, it's got a lot of health pool, a lot of things going on. So we're going to see what we can do here. Oh, I think we got it. Yep, she's done. Kaplow. And that would be that. This thing just outputs a ton of damage. So much damage, in fact, that a Scorpius in under 3 passes was able to just be eliminated. Now imagine if that was an arrow. Imagine if that was a wolf. Imagine if that was a gladius. That thing wouldn't have survived even 1 pass, let alone 3. So that was a pretty awesome demonstration there. 2.9 kilometers isn't that far, truly, but when they can't see you until they're literally right on top of you, you're already going to be outputting so much damage. And unless you have a bomb, good luck actually being able to take this thing out in one strafe. But that's not to say it's impossible, right? For a ground vehicle, for what it can do, for controlling a site, I would say this ship, or this ground vehicle, is a very good ground vehicle. It's got double thumbs up for me. I don't even want to give it like a score system for the ground vehicles if I had to. I mean, it's a great vehicle. It does exactly what it does. I'd say it's like a 90 out of 100, just because when you're driving this thing, I will say the driving capability is a bit limited. You can barely go up any sort of incline, or you won't be able to go up it at all. So with that, thank you for watching. Let me know what you think of the Centurion down in the comments below. Do you prefer this or the Ballista? Because they both have their use cases. The Ballista would probably be better for your larger ships, while the Centurion is better for dominating the smaller ships in the air or space around you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being truly amazing. And of course, I will see you all in the next one.